Yes, we are live. So welcome everyone. I can see that we already have a lot of people. People were waiting to join this live stream, so that's really awesome. Thank you so much for joining. And sorry we're late. We had a little bit of a technical hiccup going on here, but everything is working now, thankfully. So we're about to start this amazing songwriting class that Clare Dove is going to give us. That's just amazing. Claire, how are you doing tonight?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm very, very happy to have you here. Just before we start, guys, we do have a couple of things that, as always, I want to mention to you guys. The unlimited window is currently closed, but if you did get the invitation, you did get also an extension to this invitation. So today is really the last day for you to sign up to unlimited before the window officially closes. If you didn't get that extension, then you can join in the next window, which will open soon. I cannot tell you when, but soon. So just check out your email and be ready to join, because as soon as doors open, people start joining, and as soon as all of our spots are filled, we're closing again. So you don't want to miss your spot. This is really, really important. Second thing, we might be listening to some music today that YouTube might not really enjoy due to some copyright reasons. And if that happens, we have a backup live stream going on, and the link is pinned in the comment section here. So if for any reason this live stream is taken down and you can't hear us anymore, you just click on the link on the comments and you'll be taken to another app called Riverside, and which is where we're live streaming from, and we're not going to be taken down there. So without further ado, I know that you guys are here because you want to hear about songwriting and not hear me talking about a lot of things that are not as cool as songwriting. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to Claire, and please, Claire, give your show tonight. You're awesome.
Thank you so much, Pedro. Hi, everybody. I wish that I could see your beautiful faces. I'm just going to do a little technical change on my end. Sorry, I was stuck in a feedback loop. If for any reason at any point you can't hear me, just give us a holler and Pedro will fix it. And don't worry too much about what we mentioned about the stream possibly stopping. I did some last minute changes, so you're going to hear some exclusive music, which is all mine, and none of it's copywritten. So YouTube, hands off. You can't take us down. I have exclusives just for the Musiversal fam. So great to have you here this evening or this afternoon, whatever time it is for you in the world. Today we are going to be looking at some songwriting elements. Mainly what we're going to focus on today, because we just have a short amount of time, is we are going to look at song structure, and specifically looking at melody and lyrics in relation to our song structure. But if you're a composer that doesn't work with melody and lyrics, this is still going to apply. But this is kind of where our main focus is going to be this evening. So one of the main things that people come to me with when they are coming for Musiversal advice sessions, or just in general with their songs, and they're saying like, I think I need some help, but I don't know what it is, or I feel kind of stuck, or like there's good stuff, but I don't know where I'm going. Mostly it's because they haven't established what the structure of their song is, and they don't really have an understanding of what the different elements and building blocks of a song are. Now, at various points as I talk about these elements, you're going to be thinking in your head, oh, but I can think of a song that I love that doesn't follow any of those rules. And you will be absolutely correct. There's always someone that says, but what about Bohemian Rhapsody? It's the greatest song ever written, and it doesn't follow any of your song structure rules. That is completely true. Because with all things creative, at any point, you can throw all the rules out of the window and make a masterpiece. And I invite you to do that, and I encourage you to do that. However, it is really, really helpful for us to have the building blocks and the foundations of what makes a strong song. How do we have those peaks and troughs, and how do we have that emotional flow, and how do we keep our listener interested? So that's what I'm going to aim to give you this evening, those kind of building blocks. And like I said, you can experiment with them, you can swap them around, you can ignore them if you want to, but I think these are really going to help you. So I'm going to share my screen with you for a second, just so you also have some lovely visual cues. Bear with me while I try and get that popped open for you. No, I want this screen. Let's try that.
Meanwhile, guys, if you have any questions, chat is
the screen
here.
doesn't want to share, but you know what? It's not that important. The music is more important than the screen sharing. So, when we talk about song structure, what the heck am I talking about? We are talking about the different little chunks of our song that we piece together to create our beautiful song. Now, I'm sure you are already thinking in your head that you know what some of these elements are. So we're going to kind of go in an order. The first thing we're going to meet in our song is our verse. Now, like I said, this can be with lyrics or without lyrics, but we're going to think about songs with lyrics and melodies, aka a top line. So the first thing we're going to meet is our verse. What are the qualities that our verse should hold? What makes a verse different to other parts of the song? Let's have a listen to two different verses of some songs. They're completely different genres, different vibes, but let's have a listen, then we're going to talk about what those qualities are. So here comes verse number 1.
Oh, lately been spending all my nights alone. Felt like I really had to grow, so I changed up my hair, bought books on self-care, took time to repair. Did everything to get my issues fixed. I helped my therapist get rich. I finally learned what I deserve. Now I can't get hurt.
Cool, we're going to stop there. So that is an example of a verse. Now, what have we got going on there musically, and particularly with what I'm doing with the melody and lyrics? First thing of note, it's quite wordy. I'm saying quite a lot. And in our verse, that is okay. We're going to use the verses of our song to really be our spaces where we begin to tell our story. So you can afford to use a few more words in there. You also are going to notice that the melody, we're not going too high. I'm not giving away too much too soon. What I'm doing is saying, hey listener, I've got a story to tell you. And this is my story. And we're inviting them in and we're starting to get them excited, okay? So that is our verse for this song, okay? I'm going to play you another verse and see how some of those things are going to carry across. So here's a second verse for you from a new song.
On an island alone, feel myself float away. Tried so hard to be strong, find the gold in the gray. Every step feels wrong, been so long since I last believed.
In fact, that was a very short verse. I started giving you another section there as well. Okay, so when we look at those two songs and those two verse sections, even though they're really different, and they're different lengths. The first one I did quite a long verse. Second one I had a super short verse. We had those things in common that I talked about. So our melody isn't going too crazy in too many directions. The words are really inviting the listener in and saying, this is what this song is about and I want you to listen to it. And I'm hopefully engaging my listener enough that they want to listen. What comes next are some options. Sometimes in some songs, we like to skip straight into the chorus. Let's go from there. Typically though, I personally will normally write a pre-chorus into our song. So we've got our verse, and coming up next, we've got our pre-chorus. Our pre-chorus is a short section of our song that we use to connect the verse and the chorus. And its purpose is to build anticipation, build excitement. And visually for me, I always literally think of it like you're teeing up like a golf shot, or you're getting ready to like hit a shot in tennis. The pre-chorus is where you're literally getting ready and you're saying like, here it comes. And then your chorus, boom, is when you're going to land it. Okay. So our pre-chorus, melodically, you'll often find that a pre-chorus section quite literally does tee things up by lifting up. So we'll start from somewhere low and we'll build up higher to really get that impactful chorus. When we think about the lyrics for our pre, again, we're connecting the verse and the chorus. So typically our lyrics are going to be the thing that is the connective tissue between that story that we've started to tell in the verse and the chorus, which is where we're going to say our main thing. But we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so let's have a listen. We'll listen to the end of that verse and then have a listen to the pre-chorus and think about those qualities that I just kind of described, and if you feel like you can hear them in this pre-chorus. Let's go back to the kind of upbeat one first, and then we'll compare.
Issues fixed. I helped my therapist get rich. I finally learned just what I deserve. Now I can't get hurt. I found the root of all of my mistakes, and I'm never gonna make them all again, yeah. The next time that I fall, gonna be real slow. Then I saw you forgot everything I know.
Okay, so that literally did da 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 da. And for my producers on the call as well, you'll also hear how the production really helps us to amp up, because we kind of dropped out and then we literally had a little build at the end. And you can literally feel you're ready to hear a chorus. You're ready for it. And that's because we've kind of teed up those different elements that we talked about. Okay. So let's have a listen to the other song verse and see how that pre-chorus feels different. So here we go. I might give you the whole verse as well because it's so short.
On an island alone, feel myself float away. Tried so hard to be strong, find the gold in the grey. Every step feels wrong, been so long since I last believed. Then I hear the sound, voices loud out in the streets.
Yeah? So even though we're looking at really different genres, completely different styles of song, we're starting to see that pattern, hopefully, of what I'm talking about with these sort of foundations of these different elements of our song. So in that pre-chorus as well, you kind of feel that build, and it almost feels like you're then taking a breath. Musically, you're ready to then have the impact of the song. You also hopefully might have noticed with both of these examples that even with the first one where there's a longer verse, at this point in the song, I'm not leaving it too long to like introduce the chorus. I'm trying to keep things moving. That's partly because of how I like to write as a writer. I like to keep things kind of dynamic and like to keep my ideas moving. It's partly a little bit to do with the way that listeners consume music these days and tailoring to them a little bit. If I'm making music that is going to be listened to on Spotify, the second track that I'm letting you hear is one that is used quite a lot on like film and TV. That one gets quite a lot of usage. So you're kind of just keeping things moving and giving people the opportunity to really hear like, cool, I'm going to use this bit for that. So being a little bit kind of business like savvy, which is not necessarily the way that you might want to think about making your art, but I know lots of you do ask me about how you can get into kind of like TV placements and how you can songs, and I do think it's good to keep in mind that people have kind of short attention spans, so let's kind of keep things moving. Don't hold off your chorus for too long. So here we are coming up to our chorus. We've teed it up really nicely with our pre-chorus. We're ready. So what makes a good chorus of a song? Or in fact, maybe I need to backtrack in case anyone's like, what even is a chorus? What is a chorus of a song? The chorus is, to put it in the most simple terms, it's the main part of the song. It's the part of the song where we're going to get our main message across. So when you're writing your song and you're thinking, what is the take home of this song? What is the essence of this song? What is the song truly about? You need to say it in chorus. Hear it, okay? Often, the lyric that's in that chorus will be the title of a song. Okay, so for example, this is where YouTube might take me down, but I'm just going to sing to you. Say you have like Adele, Set Fire to the Rain. The chorus, I set fire to the rain. It's right there. That is what this song is about. That's the image she wants you to leave you with, okay? That's like the main moment. So our chorus is the part of the song that's going to repeat throughout. Melodically, we want to make our chorus not too complicated, around too much and meandering and showing off our vocals too much. Because this is the part of the song you really want your listener to engage with, and this is the part of the song that they want to sing along to, and they don't want to have to listen to it 7 million times to figure out how it goes so they can sing along. They want to hear it like once at the beginning of the song, and by the time the song ends, they're singing along with you because they get it. So that applies to our melodies, so the notes that we're choosing, and also to our lyrics. A really strong chorus, again, often, not always, will have quite repetitive lyrics. That's when I say simple, your lyrics can still be beautiful and poetic and have incredible metaphors, but they're easy to grab onto. And someone's going to say, oh, I love that song that so-and-so played me yesterday. I think it was called something like, and the name of the chorus is right in there, okay? Lyric, we don't want it to be too complicated. It's not like our verse where we're telling a story and we can say all these words. Our chorus, we just want to give people the point and let them really hear it and take it away. Often melodically as well, your chorus will be the highest melody point in your song in terms of your main melodies within the song. Now, you might introduce higher parts in your vocal arrangement, in some ad-libs when you get towards the end and you're letting you loose and your inner Mariah Carey is coming out. But when you're thinking about the main melodies of your song, when we think about like Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer, whoa, I'm halfway there, whoa. The chorus is the main bit, it's the highest bit we get to. It's the bit we want people to sing at the top of their lungs, okay? So that's what we really want from our chorus. So we think catchy melody, simple, attentive, meaningful lyrics, highest point. Okay, so those are the things we're kind of going to be aiming for. So let's have a listen to some of these different choruses and see how they feel. Let's go to our upbeat one first.
Now I can't get hurt. I found the root of all of my mistakes, and I'm never gonna make them all again, yeah. The next time that I fall, gonna be real slow. Then I saw you forgot everything I know. You sure put me in my place real quick. I didn't even last a day. Couldn't resist, thought I had all my problems solved, but no luck. Still ain't got no self-control when it comes to love. Oh.
Cool. So if we listen to that chorus, that is a song that I called Self-Control, and I say the payoff in that line is still ain't got no self-control when it comes to love. And hopefully that's a melody that people would sort of grab onto. There is an extra part of that song that I might get to in a minute. Okay, so that was our chorus. Let's have a listen to the chorus of our other song and see how those elements kind of fare.
A power that could break so long since I last believed. Then I hear the sound, voices loud out in the streets. Earth moves, standing in a crowd with you. A power that could break through anything we wanted to. Now the world knows that we got a point to prove. I can feel the earth move, standing in a crowd with you.
Cool? Like an even clearer example. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I, in fact, do that simple melody 3 times within that chorus. And this is like an extra little chorus trick that I often encourage people to see if they can implement. It's kind of like a sandwich. You open the chorus with this strong melody, then you give a little something different, and then you finish with that strong melody again. And that helps the song to not become kind of boring. We don't want to hear the same thing like 4 or 5 times. We want to have a little different flavor going on there, and then we want to remember what it's all about. Okay, so hopefully those elements kind of feel like they're making sense. Now, just to recap where we're at so far, in terms of our structure, we've got our verse, we've got our pre-chorus, and we've got our chorus. And just for anyone that might be making notes as we go along, so our verse is where we really want to tell the story of our song. You can afford to have more words going on there. It's where we really want to invite the listener in. Melodically, we don't want to give too much away. Pre-chorus is where we want to build the energy and the excitement and the engagement so that our listener is really excited and ready for us to land at our chorus. Our chorus is where we want to introduce more repetitive melodies. We want to have those catchy earworm melodies. We don't want to do too much lyrically that's going to be difficult for people to grab onto. And we probably want to think about that being one of the highest points in our song melodically. Okay, so that's where we're at so far. Now, these 3 elements will, for lots of you, already help you unlock lots of your songwriting. Just thinking about, oh, okay, what I've actually written is like 3 different verses, and I haven't actually got my chorus yet. I haven't actually found my main moment. Or someone, I can't see who's on the call or who's on our stream, but you might be here and be like, hey, she's talking about me. But I had someone in one of our Musiversal songwriting advice sessions last week saying, I can't find the chorus, like I don't know where to go from here. And when I listened to their song, I was like, it's because you've already written the chorus. You have this great, catchy moment that you want to sing along to. Like, you've found your peak. Of course you're finding it hard to then be like, where do I go from there? Because you're already giving us this really magic moment. Now you need to bring us back to a verse. Tell us some more. So thinking about the different qualities that these structural segments of your song contain is, I think, going to really help you sort of unlock some bits and pieces. Now, there are some other things we can introduce. So let's just have a look at some other elements within these songs. So a post-chorus is something that not every song has. I don't always write one, but just sometimes it feels right. Your post-chorus, very often in a song, it might be a part that doesn't even have lyrics. It might be like a na 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 or a la la la, and it is a little earwormy section that is just so simple and catchy that comes after your chorus. It doesn't have to come after every chorus. It could just come after a later chorus in the song. But there's one here on one of these songs, so I want to just give you a little example. Hopefully I've included the right, because I have a version with and without, as I was still trying to decide what I wanted. But this is so you can hear what a post-chorus can add to your songs.
Books on self-care, did you fake? So, then I saw you forgot it even last today. Couldn't resist, but I had all my problems solved. But no luck, still ain't got no self-control when it comes to love. Oh, thought I had nothing left to solve, but still I ain't got no self-control. Thought I had nothing left to solve, but still I ain't got no self-control.
So you see what I mean? We've just got this extra really catchy, earwormy part of the song. I think one of the reasons I actually added it into that song is because I felt even that chorus that I'd written the section I played you before, I wanted to condense it even more. I wanted to distill it. I wanted just to have something that was like just this little section without too many words. So that's why I ended up adding that part into that song. So you don't always need it, but a post-chorus can be a really nice way of kind of bringing in this energetic, fun part of a song that people can sing along to. So that's what that is. So when we're thinking about the structure of our song, often what happens is we get this far and we're like, awesome, verse, pre-chorus. I'm going to go again. I'm going to have another verse. And what people can often do is their second verse will be similar in too many ways to your first verse. So one of the things that I often tell people to do is I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to need you to cut your second verse in half. Because at this point in the song, we've already heard your chorus. We're already excited. We're ready. You've built the energy. When you bring us back to the verse, we don't want to stay back in that storytelling for too long. You want to keep the momentum going. So often, I want you to have a listen after this to some of like your favorite songs that you listen to all the time. And a lot of them, you'll probably find like, oh, that second verse was really short. That second verse was half the length of the first verse. Okay? When we start the song off, you can afford to do a bit more with your storytelling. You can take your time a little bit more. But once we hit verse 2, at this point, let's keep it moving. Let's keep that momentum running. So verse 2, we want it to be not too long. But we have our second verse. Often as well, melodically, you can afford in your second verse to do a couple of little variations. You can go a little bit higher where you didn't go high before, or you can change your phrasing just a little bit because your audience has already heard how this melody and how this phrasing goes. So we can just switch it up a little bit. You know, not too much, but we want to keep them interested. We don't want them to expect everything that's coming along. So, a few little sprinkles of change in our verse 2. Back to our pre-chorus, back to chorus 2. Let's get back to that chorus, okay? And then after that, we can have our bridge section. Now, sometimes your bridge might be a guitar solo. Sometimes your bridge might be a rap feature. Sometimes it might just be a breakdown of your chorus, or sometimes your bridge will be a true version of a bridge, and it will be new chords, new melody, and it's just a moment of change. Now, do I remember if this first song has a bridge or not? I do not. Let's find out if I wrote one for this song. I might have just used the pre-chorus, the post-chorus again. Let's have a little look. In fact, you can have a listen to how I change up that verse too, actually.
Got my degree and putting myself first. I spent the money, did the work. Couldn't go wrong. My intentions so strong, but they didn't stick long. Kidding myself, thinking that I'm too smart to keep giving away my heart, so that I won't get played. But I'm easily swayed by your pretty face. I found the root.
So that verse you can hear, it kind of felt the same as verse 1, but there's some little changes going on. There's some little melody switches. We've made some additions with the backing vocals to kind of give it the extra oomph. Now, let's see if we can find if there's a bridge or not.
You should put me in my place, real quick. I didn't even last a day. Couldn't resist, thought I had all my problems solved, but no luck. Still ain't got no self-control when it comes to love. You should put me in my place, real quick. I didn't even last a day. Couldn't resist, thought I had all my problems solved, but no luck. Still ain't got no self-control when it comes to love.
Cool. Okay, so you can hear in that example what I did arrangement-wise there. It's all coming back to me now. It's because I already have that post-chorus idea in there. The da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I didn't do a bridge for this song because I felt like it's too many elements. We had a double chorus this time instead, where I did some little melody changes, and then I had my post, okay? So for that, because there's a post chorus, I chose not to do a bridge. You could do one. We're at 2 minutes 40 when we get to the end of the song. I personally like a song to be around the 3-minute mark. So, we could add a bit more if we wanted to, or we could leave it like that. The other song, I believe, does have a complete example of a bridge. So, let's see if we can find that.
No.
Okay, so this is how we do a real change in energy to just give something different to the song. So this is coming out of what would be our second chorus.
I can feel the earth move, standing in a crowd with you. No fear, no doubt, stand tall, sing it loud, one voice ringing out. No fear, no doubt, stand tall, sing it loud, one voice ringing out.
So that's the bridge for that one. Just have something a little different going on, just to keep our listener interested and also to introduce a new idea into our song. After this, in this one, I do a little breakdown chorus. So let's just have a listen to that, and you can see how bringing this in can just add that extra kind of something into the shape and the production of your song. So, the end of this one.
Sing it loud, one voice ringing out. I can feel the earth move, standing in a crowd with you. A power that could break through anything we wanted to. I can feel the earth move, standing in a crowd with you. I can feel it. A power that could break through anything we wanted to. Anything we wanted to.
Etc. Okay, so let's have a little recap of those new elements we've talked about. So our bridge section is an opportunity for us to introduce something new into the song. Could be just a new melody, could be new chords, could be a guitar solo or a sax solo or a harmonica solo, whatever you want. Could be a rapper, whatever you want. So a bridge section is an opportunity just for us to bring in a new idea, and it keeps the song feeling really fresh and energized and keeps that momentum going all the time. And then a final thing that we just looked at with that second song is I introduced doing a breakdown chorus. And you can feel how that can be a really impactful thing to add into your song, because it's a melody and a lyrical idea that your listener is already really familiar with, but giving it a really different dynamic to what they've heard so far in the song can make it actually feel really exciting. So that's just something we've added in there. You'll notice on both of those songs I played you, they both end with going back around that chorus section, okay? Both of them, in fact, have a double chorus at the end. I think pretty much all of my songs end with at least a chorus, normally a double chorus. I feel like I always want to leave the listener with the big moment of my song. The most important part of the song is the bit I want them to turn off their radio and go into their house, and that's the bit that's still stuck in their head. It's the bit I want them to remember. I generally will kind of discourage people from like adding in another kind of like meandering section at the end, even though sometimes it can kind of be tempting and can kind of feel nice. I just feel like let's leave our listener with the message we really want them to hold on to, that main part. But again, you can experiment with that and see what feels good. So again, let's just have a little recap of our elements, and then for the last kind of 10 minutes or so, if you're free to stay with me, we're going to do a bit of songwriting together, okay? In a very fast way. Before we do that, we're just going to recap one more time all those different elements we talked about. So we've got starting our song off with our verse, where we open up and we tell the story of our song, and we give some stuff away lyrically, and we invite our listener in. But melodically, we don't do too much. Then we meet our pre-chorus, where we want to build up the excitement in our song, build that momentum to really give impact to our chorus. Our chorus, we want ideally to be something that is super catchy, memorable, and has the main message of your song inside that chorus. Okay? Then we're going to go back to a verse. Maybe we change it up a little bit. Maybe we shorten it. Okay? But we're coming back to our verse. Pre-chorus again. Build that excitement again. Hit us with another chorus. And then for the final third of our song, you might bring in a post-chorus. You might bring in a bridge, where we just bring in something different, whether it's an instrument solo or a breakdown or a rap or whatever. And then we're going to take it home, finishing nice and strong with our chorus. Okay? So if you're ever feeling like you're just sort of in the mud of your song, and you've got sections and stuff that you like, but you're just not really sure like where you are with it, it doesn't feel like it has shape, come back to these building blocks that we've talked about. Try and pick out that shape. Try and think, okay, does my chorus actually have these elements, or actually have I written like a pre-chorus and we've not landed there yet? Is my verse like, do I need 3 verses? Maybe I can lose one of these. Maybe I pick my favorites. Maybe one of them is going to become the bridge. Yeah. So come back to these sort of foundations and building blocks, and then you can play with them as much as you want. Okay. But if you're feeling lost, or you feel like you don't know where to go with it, start from these blocks. All right. Now, we're going to make a little song together. One of the things that I kind of find myself talking about a lot when I'm doing songwriting coaching and stuff is people want to talk about how they make their song, or they want to explain away their song, or they want to show me something written down with their song. That's all great. The best way of making our song is we've got to just get some sounds out, particularly if you're writing a song, especially if you're writing a song with a top line, okay? If it's your instrument, you need to play it. And often lots of you will come to me and you've got a beautiful guitar part, or you've got this great production, and then you just kind of talk about where you hear your top line going. To write that top line, the best way of feeling, is this strong? Is this catchy? Is to see, does this feel good to sing? I want to be able to sing it. That doesn't mean you have to be a singer. I know so many songwriters, and I'm sure lots of you feel like this, that you have these ideas and you want to write a song, but you don't want to be the person that performs it. And that is totally fine. But I really, really encourage you, even if you then go back and put that melody, you translate it back into a MIDI file or to a keys line for someone to hear. If you don't want anyone to ever hear your voice, that's totally fine. But I really encourage you to just allow yourself to sing and make those sounds and see where it leads you, because that's how you find melodies and things that feel really good. Sometimes when we play it, if we're trying to play a melody that's then going to be sung, it kind of feels a bit like, it can feel a bit rigid sometimes, it can feel a bit sticky, like it's not really what you mean. So just sing it. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to continue to share my sound with you. What I have in front of me currently is just a guitar loop that just goes round and round, okay? I'm going to show you what I do when I am at the beginning of creating a song, okay? So what I will do is I will generally start with some chords, okay? So that's what I've got in front of me now. Not too many. There's literally just 4 chords. They just loop around. That's going to be my starting point for my song. Afterwards, I might go back, might start to change things. For now, this is enough to get me going, all right? Thinking about those different elements that we've talked about, I'm just going to start making sounds and seeing what feels good. Right now, I'm not going to worry about the words. I'm not going to worry about what I'm saying. I'm just going to see if I can start to find some melodies and some shape within this song that feels good. And the best way you can do this at home as well is by just playing those chords, either playing them yourself or literally voice note or put them into your, whatever you're using, your Logic or Pro Tools, whatever it is. Get those down rough, just loop it. Get your phone, make a voice note, and just make sounds and see what comes out. So I'm going to try and on the spot put down some ideas, okay? So this is going to be like a real-time session. So I've got my chords, and I'm going to think about starting my song off with a verse, then pre, then chorus, and then I'm kind of going to see where we go and see if any of it feels like it's going to stick, okay? So hopefully, technical-wise, you can hear all of this. All right, so how do these chords even go? Cool, all right, let's see what happens. So I'm going to start with my verse and see where I go from there. And I'm just going to do nonsense words for now. Maybe something will come out that I decide I want to keep.
You say that you don't want it, babe, and you don't want it, baby. And you say na 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 da 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 da
Okay, there's some stuff in there. There's some shape. Let's go again. See if anything different comes out. If anything the same comes out, maybe that means it's a good melody. Okay, verse.
na 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 baby na 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 na
Okay, so at this point, I feel like there's some good stuff kind of starting to take shape, but I don't feel like I've found like a catchy chorus vibe yet. So I'm just going to think about that section and try and see if I can find something really catchy and really energetic. See how that feels. Etc. Okay? So hopefully you can hear how, as I would probably just carry on doing that for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, however long it felt good for, the more that I kept doing that and running it back and starting from the top, little things would start to grow roots within that song and start to feel like, okay, actually I feel like, yeah, I keep coming back to this melody. This feels really good. Sometimes I might need to take a step away from it, come back with some fresh ears, listen back to those ideas and be like, oh, that was good. I didn't remember I did that, but that feels like a good melody. Let's kind of come back to this. Let's circle around that, okay? But the best way to approach it and start it is just to start making some sounds. And if you're not a singer, it's totally fine. You can then take these and be like, oh, I think I know where that's going to go. And then you can play it if that feels more comfortable. Yeah. But I really encourage you to get your voice around the song so you can feel like, what does this feel like to sing? I want it to feel good to sing. I don't want it to be too difficult. I don't want it to be too boring. I want it to feel good. And that's what it's all about. So that's an example where I'm approaching it from a sort of melody first. I would then, if I was going to carry on with this song, which maybe I will, I'm starting to kind of feel like a bit of a vibe, I would then start to be like, okay, how does this song make me feel? What does it make me think of? And I would really sit in that and see lyrically where this song might take me, and allow myself just to kind of literally go with the flow. What do I feel like I want to say in this song? What lyrics keep coming up for me? Like, oh, that's interesting. And dive into that. You, of course, can come to your song with lyrics first. I know lots of people love to come from a place of writing their lyrics first, or, you know, sometimes that's what I do if I just have my lyrics. A great tip with that is, if you do have your lyrics ready and done, when you come to create your melody, try to still have a bit of flexibility. Sometimes we might have written lyrics that are we're kind of trying to shoehorn them in, and it's really hard to get that melody to work around them. Until the song is done and tied up in a bow and finished, just stay flexible with everything. Stay flexible with your lyrics. Maybe they're going to end up changing. That's okay. Sometimes we hold on really tight because we're like, but that's a really good lyric, and it's just not working for this song. Just let it go. We're going to use it somewhere else. We'll use it for something else. Let the song be what the song wants to be. That staying flexible also is true for your production as well. Don't spend forever doing every element of building out the production before you've written the top line, because then you're really boxing yourself in. Write from a place like this, where it's quite sparse, you've got loads of flexibility, so that every element of the song can kind of continue to serve the other parts of the song, and we're just making the best song we can instead of boxing ourselves in. Hopefully you heard, sort of as I was creating those melodies, you could hear how I was implementing those ideas that we've talked about. We start with a verse. It was more talkative, there was more phrasing going on. Then I tried to kind of find a way to build, and then I was trying to find that chorus, something that felt kind of catchy and grabby. And so yeah, hopefully that puts us in a good place. Now, my friend Pedro, do we have any questions about anything at all that people had fired your way? This is the time to ask them. And I'm going to unmute so I can actually hear you as well.
Awesome. I'm also just changing things here so I can hear you as well while I speak, because if I speak, I'll hear myself 7 times before. Well, there we go. So, Claire, first of all, that was awesome. I took so many notes, and
Yay, I'm glad.
I fully resonate with what you said. With, you know, when we cling to those lyrics that we love so much, but they just don't work with the song. And in fact, I have a story, a funny story with a client of mine that I produced a long time ago, and he had this 3 sentences that he would put in every single song that he would write because he loved those sentences so much, but they never worked. But it was really funny.
You're like, not today, it's not this song.
Right, and it was never that song. It was so fun to do with that, because it became kind of a joke inside the studio. So surprisingly, we haven't got any questions, but we did have a lot of people watching us. So I'm guessing everyone was just like me, just paying a lot of attention and taking a lot of notes. But I'm guessing that people do have questions. So guys, don't be shy. You have the chat.
Yeah, come on, ask away.
Of course, you have the chat here, and if we might give them a little bit of time because the stream is actually about 40 seconds behind, so they're probably still listening to you.
Well, we're here from the future to encourage you.
Exactly,
to ask
and
a question
the numbers to the Powerball
to.
are I'm just kidding. Awesome. We do have a question from John Badencourt. I'm probably not pronouncing that name correctly. I'm sorry about that. But do you find yourself using verse and chorus for the same chord progression? Using the same chord progression for verse and chorus? I think this is what he meant.
Not always. It kind of depends. I often do, but definitely doesn't always need to be. You definitely can switch it up. And the stuff that we talked about sort of how our chorus becomes sort of our main moment and all those elements that a chorus can contain, absolutely doesn't have to be with the same kind of chords. I know with those examples I showed you that kind of everything stays in the same chords. That's very typical of kind of the current climate of pop music, and this is stuff that is very much geared towards sort of being used for sync and also being used for kind of really commercially vibed stuff. But you absolutely don't, all of this will work, and you can change chords for your chorus totally. Yeah, good shout for mentioning that, because I didn't say that.
That's awesome. We do have a question from songwriter Jack as well, which he read my mind because I was going to ask that. What is included in a Musiversal songwriting session? What can you expect from a songwriting session at Musiversal?
That is an excellent question. So, the songwriting advice sessions are completely sort of flexible and tailored around whatever you bring me. So, sometimes someone might bring me a song that is almost close to being finished. It's almost done, and all they're looking for is another songwriter's ears just to say, hey, this is great, but have you thought about just swapping those sections around or just losing that section? And it can be just a kind of tightening up of things. On the complete flip side, someone might come to me with like the very bare bones of a song. I've had people come to me where they've just got a sort of concept for the song, a couple of lyrics sprinkled around, and a chord progression. And they're just sort of looking to bounce back ideas with a songwriter and say, like, where could I go from here? And we just use it as a space to sort of, bounce ideas back, and me to help them get the best out of their song. What I won't do in your songwriting session is write any parts of the song for you. I am just going to help you get the song to the best it can be and help you feel like you've come unstuck with it and you feel really excited about then hopefully moving forward and booking a session with one of our musicians, because you feel like, yes, now I know what I want to do with this song next. So yeah, I hope that helps. But basically, whatever state your song is in, you can come and I can help you kind of get it to the next stage that you're hoping for it to be. You can also just come to me you can play me multiple songs. You can just have a chat about songwriting in general and just get some guidance. We can talk about some of this stuff more in depth. So yeah, it totally depends on you and whatever you want to get out of the session.
That's amazing.
I hope that helps.
We have another question from someone that I am a little bit suspicious. I think he might have had a session with you in the past, because he asked, this guy's name is Tony Solato, and he's asking if you have a favorite Musiversal customer. He's asking for a friend. He says that.
Oh, who could that be? Tony is one of my regulars. Hi, Tony. Thanks so much for joining. Always love doing our sessions, Tony. Always love singing your songs. But I couldn't possibly pick a favorite.
Well, that's awesome. And we also have another question from AF Ukpong. He asks, what are your thoughts on using unintelligible sounds to fill in our song? Stuff that sounds good but doesn't really make sense. Not necessarily when songwriting, but at the end product.
Why not? Sure, experiment. If it feels good, then yes, absolutely. Like, mess around with it. Try something. What's that? There's a Rihanna song that uses like a Michael Jackson sample where like the hook of the song is like, namaste, namaste, manaka-san,
Yes.
namaste, namaste. It's like, it's kind of nonsense. Some people are like, oh, I think it's this lyric sampled backwards. When they were making that song, they were like, it just sounds cool. It sounds cool and it's catchy and it feels good. So if you've put something in your song that feels good, keep it in there. There are no rules. Unless, of course, it's like offensive to somebody and like not kind, then I say change that. But you know, if it's just nonsense and it's fun and you're like, I don't know what this section is, it's just like a weird rambly sound, it's not even singing, it's just a weird sound, but I really like it, I think it sounds cool, I love it, I'm all for it. Music is, as much as I'm kind of giving you these like rules, they're just foundations, they're just things to work from, just to help give you shape, give you things to go off of, and then you can twist it up and mix it around. Music is creative and there's no rules. Just make something that makes you happy and that you love listening to. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm all for it.
And I mean, writing things that make no sense, it's pretty, it sounds fun to me. Like, if you, I mean, whatever cake by the ocean means, or watermelon and sugar.
Totally.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I don't know what that means. I just know it kind of sounds fun to say.
I like
it.
Cool.
It's catchy. Sounds cool. Yeah.
And we have a follow-up question based on what you said
Yes.
before regarding the Musiversal sessions. Is it possible to book you as a songwriter?
You can't book me as a songwriter through Musiversal. The only reason why is because stuff then does start to get a little bit complicated, because I then am a co-writer on one of your songs, which means whatever happens with that song, I am owed a piece of that pie. Whereas the sort of umbrella under Musiversal, but definitely for me personally, is I am here with Musiversal to make your music the best that it can be, and that's whether you're coming to me for songwriting advice or if you're coming to me to add vocals and come and sing on your song. But you're going to walk away with something that is entirely yours and you can do whatever you want from it, and I've just helped you to make it the best that it can be. And I'm not going to co-write your song with you, because then I actually own part of it, and then I'm going to be texting you and saying, like, hey, we haven't sorted this split out, and what's happening with the song, blah, blah, blah. I want you to walk away with stuff that is completely yours. So that's just the reason why, for me, we're not doing songwriting sessions, but I will give you advice.
Exactly.
And then you won't need me anyway, because you just have all the tips you need.
See, she's not gonna give you a fish. She's gonna teach you how to fish, which
Exactly.
is way more valuable.
Exactly.
And this goes along with every single session in Musiversal is 100% buyout. So there are no royalties owed ever. So it really makes sense to be that way. And
Totally.
it makes sense that Claire won't write your song.
Yeah.
Now we have another, it's not a question, it's rather a comment from Lee Mann. He said that he you sang on some of his songs for the demos that he played on New York City last fall with live actors singing, and your voice helped define the characters in the demos. So he thanks you for that.
Oh, that's so fantastic. Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for having me sing your songs. Whether I'm like helping people write their songs or I'm getting to be a part of their songs at whatever stage, a demo or staying in the backing vocals or whatever, it's so exciting for me, because I just love music and I love creating music, and to know that I get to help people then create the music that they want to create is like just the best thing ever. So thank you so much for like having me on your song, and I'm so glad that you were able to then like take it to the next place, and that some of the work we did together sort of informed the next chapter of your music. So thank you for the update as well. And yeah, anyone that I work with, like, always keep us updated with what you're doing and where your songs and your music has ended up, because it's really lovely for us to hear, isn't it, Pedro?
Oh yeah.
Just everything that happens with your songs and stuff. So yeah, That's amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. And before we move on, I just want to apologize and rectify one thing that I said. It's actually her song, so Lee Man is a she. And I thank everyone for the comprehension. As a Brazilian guy, I don't really understand some things sometimes, and I try really hard. And now John just asked, and actually, John, the answer is yes. I can already tell you that if Claire is available to sing in your songs in Unlimited. And can you talk to us a little bit about that before we move on? How does a singing session works?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, you can now also book me to sing vocals on Unlimited. And if that hasn't appeared as an option for you yet, it literally will appear in the next few days. We're just sorting some things out. So yes, you absolutely can book me to sing on your songs. And the way that it works is if it's a vocal session, I'm basically going to sing whatever you tell me to sing. So in an ideal world, you will give me a guide vocal that, like, it can just be a rough take of you singing how the song goes, or it can be a previous singer, or you can just send the sort of melody as a MIDI file, but I just need to know how does the tune go. And then I'm going to sing it for you. And you're going to be there in the Zoom with me, so we can work together and you can say, oh, I really liked how you did that, but could you do this bit a little bit differently, or can you do this? And everything that I record is then just going to be sent to you. So you'll have all of the takes, and then you can do with them whatever you want. You can pick out all of your favorite bits, and then you have my voice. If you are looking for a backing vocal session as opposed to like a lead vocal, on those sessions I can give you a little bit more guidance. You are welcome to come to me and just say, hey, I've just got this song and I don't know what backing vocals I want. Like, I haven't written the parts, but I just would love you to add some backing vocals to this. Then absolutely, I can do that as well and create some arrangement around it for you. But yeah, you kind of just have a little singer in the computer at your disposal, and I will sing your song however you would like me to sing it.
Isn't that awesome? I would love that. Guys, we are wrapping up right now because we're actually past our time. Time does fly when we talk about music, and it's awesome. So if anyone has any last questions, it's now or never. Now is the time. Speak now or forever hold your breath. But before we move on, I just want to thank Claire so much for your time and for putting up this amazing class with us, for us. It was really, really really informative and really helpful for everyone here. So
my pleasure.
We just had another comment from Liman. She just said that she wants to comment that Claire is a great singer for sessions and she loves recording with you. So that's good.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
And well, last but not least, still, let's just give some people some time if they have any more questions.
Sure.
I want to ask you, Claire, when you receive the files for a vocal session, what do you prefer? I know that you can, do a lot of things and take care of the job in many different ways. But what do you prefer to receive as a musician? Do you want the score to sing to, or a MIDI file, or just a melody? What is best for you?
For me, an ideal world is that you have your demo, but the instrumental and the vocal line have been separated. So it's not all just one sound. I have a separate take of the instrumental and the vocal. That means I can listen to your demo vocal in isolation if I need to, and then when I record, I can record just to the instrumental. So that is super, super helpful. What was I also about to say? Lyric sheet, please. Lyrics. If you also have sheet music like ready that you want to send me, fantastic. Like, please feel free to send that to me. You don't need to transcribe just for our session. It's fine. I'm happy to work just with lyrics. If you want to also send a MIDI file, or sometimes people will send me like a piano take of how the melody goes if they feel like they're not like a super strong singer or they don't feel like they can demonstrate the vocal, then that's also great. But yeah, basically, as long as I have the instrumental and something how I can hear how the vocal goes, perfect for me. So yeah.
Awesome. And we had another shout out from Songwriter Jack also saying that he had you sing on some of his songs, and great vocalist, great to work with. So people really do like you.
They like me. Thanks so much, everyone. It's always a pleasure to come and sing on your songs.
That's awesome, guys. And answering the last question now, really quick. Fan Gmail just asked, how can we reach you again? So Clare is available in Musiversal Unlimited for songwriting advice and soon for vocal sessions as well. So if you are a Unlimited subscriber, you just have to click on her profile and choose a time that works for you to schedule a session with her, and that would be awesome.
Absolutely.
Clare, any final thoughts before we go?
No. Oh, I guess on just like a practical thing, if you're booking a session and you're like not quite sure if you've given me everything that I need, or we have a message feature within where you book sessions. So you can just drop a message, or I'll drop you a message if I look and I'm like, could you also send me this? So you really don't need to worry. We'll have a look at everything, and if we need something else, we'll give you a message, or you can just let me know whatever state your song is in. If you're coming for songwriting advice, you can kind of chat to me prior to the session as well. So yeah, that's it really. But just overall, just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has tuned in, and I hope you found this useful, and I hope that there's some stuff that you can really take away from this and really enhance your future songwriting endeavors. And I'm excited to work with more of you on your songs and sing on them, and yeah, all of that good stuff.
That's awesome, Clare. Thank you so much for your time. It was a really, really valuable experience. And thank you everyone that joined today. We're very happy to see that you guys are still interested in our live streams and yet you have questions, and we're very happy to help you with any of your questions. If you have any special requests, any suggestions, anything that you think that we can make better, please reach out to me on Circle. I'm there, and I'm happy to hear any feedback that you might have. This live stream has been recorded and will be made available for you at a later date with better quality, better audio quality, better video quality, and with less connection issues. I do know that we did have some connection issues earlier today, and those all are going to be fixed, and we're gonna make a full version available to you. You don't have to worry about that. And thank you so much to everyone, and have a great night.
Thanks everybody. Bye.